Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is part 10 of Tableau Desktop certification series. Before starting this video, if you have not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon for upcoming and interesting videos. So without any further delay, let's get started. So today we are going to start domain 4. This is the last domain of our Tableau Desktop certification series, and the name of the domain is Understanding Tableau Concept, which contains 15% of the questions. You can expect 6 to 7 questions from this domain, and the topic from this domain are understand dimension and measures, properties of dimensions, what kind of information dimension contains, type of fields and their data type, properties of measures, what kind of information measure contains, type of field and their data type, and difference between dimension and measures, and who create header or label and access in the view. Okay. And the second part is understand discrete and continuous field, properties of discrete, like how discrete fields are displayed, difference between discrete dimension and discrete measures, and how we can switch from discrete dimension to discrete measures or vice versa, and what is the color of discrete field, properties of continuous, how continuous fields are displayed, difference between continuous dimension and continuous measures, how we can switch between continuous dimension and continuous measure and vice versa, color of continuous field, and what is the difference between discrete date parts and continuous date part or continuous date values. Okay. And the third part of this domain is understand aggregation, default aggregation for a measure. So when you drag a measure into the view, what is the by default aggregation applied to that measures, and how we can change the aggregation for measures, and how an aggregated measures change when dimensions are added in the view. So I will try to complete all the question related to domain 4 in this video. Okay, so without any further delay, let's jump to our questions. First question of the video is, which three statements accurately describe dimensions? Options are contains qualitative values, affect the level of details in the view, affect the formatting options in the view, can be continuous or discrete, contains numeric or quantitative values. First, let's understand what is dimension. So whenever you load the data into the Tableau, let's say I'm using sample superstore. So Tableau automatically divides data between dimension and measures based on the data present in the field. So if you look at this line, above this line, all the fields are dimensions, and below this line, all the fields are measures. Okay. And the data type of their fields are string, geographic, date, and boolean. Okay, and it contains qualitative values. From here you can see we are having category, city, country, so these are showing qualitative data. Okay, to know more about this, you can look at this article. This is the best article. From here you can learn about what is dimension, what is measures. Okay, if you look at this, so dimension contains qualitative values such as name, dates, geographic data. Okay, and dimension affect the level of details in the view. Now it's become easy to answer this question. So when you go it, so first option is correct, contains qualitative values. B option is also correct, that is affect the level of details in the view. Formatting option in the view, this is wrong. Can be continuous or discrete, this is also right. Contains numeric and quantitative value, this is wrong. So the right option is A, B, and D. Next question is, which statements accurately describe measures? Select all apply. Options are measures are aggregated by default when dragged into the views, affect the level of details in the view, affect the formatting options in the view, can be continuous or discrete, can contain numeric and qualitative values. As we discussed in the last question, above this line, all fields are dimension, and below this line, all fields are measures. Okay. So whenever you drag any of the measures, so aggregation is applied to that field by default. Okay. And it contains numeric values like sales, discount, profit, and etc. And it can be continuous as well as discrete. Okay. And to know more about this, you can refer the same article. From here, you can read about measures. Okay. So from these options, option A is correct. B is wrong. That is the property of dimensions. Affect the formatting option in the view. This is also wrong. Can be continuous or measured. This is right. Can contains numeric and quantitative. This is also right. So the option A, D, and E is right. E, D, and E. Next question is, which statements are correct? Options are measures can be discrete or continuous. This is correct as we discussed in the previous questions. Dimensions are numeric and qualitative values. This is wrong. Measures are numeric and quantitative values. This is right. Dimensions can be only discrete. This is also wrong. So the right option is A and C. Next question is, in Tableau, what are the ways that dimension and measures are different? Select all apply. As we already discussed three questions based on dimension and measures, now it becomes very easy for you to understand what is the difference between dimension and measures. So let's go to the options. When brought into the view, measures are aggregated by default where dimensions are not. This is right. Dimension affect the level of details of a view where measures do not. This is also right. Measures can be used as a filter where dimensions can't. Dimensions can be used in a calculated field where measures can't. Let's try C and D options. So we can drag dimensions into the filter shelf and we can drag measures also into the filter shelf. Okay, so this option become wrong, and we can use dimension as well as measures in the calculated field. So D option is also wrong. So the right options are A and B. Next question is, how many auto-generated fields is added in dimensions? Options are 2, 3, 4 or 1. Let's go to here. So whenever you connect the data into the Tableau generates 5 automatic fields into the data. So these are measure name, measure value, latitude, longitude, and this is the count of orders. Or maybe this will give you the total number of rows present into your data set. Okay, but the question asks how many auto-generated field is added into dimension, so that is only one, so that is measures name. Okay, and Tableau add 4 fields into measure section. Okay, so for this, right option is A, that is our option D. So this question can be asked like this way also, how many auto-generated fields is added in measures? So for this question the answer would be 4. Okay, let's move to the next question. What is created by a dimension that is placed in a view? An axis, a filter, a label, or a field? Okay, so whenever we drag a dimension into the view, so it creates the label or the header. Okay, so the right answer is C. So label, or you can find it as a header. Okay, so both are same thing. Next question is, what is created by a measure that is placed in a view? A filter with the range of values, a field with headers, a label with the name of fields, an axis with the range of values. Let's remove this and drag our measures. So whenever we drag a measures into the view, and you will get an axis with the range of values. Okay, so the right option is D. Next question is, what are the aggregation possible for measures? Select all apply. Options are sum, percentage, count D, that is distinct count, and max. Let's try it out. Let's go to this field sum, and whenever you go to measures, and you can see these are possible aggregation for a measure, that is sum, average, median, count, count D, that is distinct count, minimum, maximum, percentile, standard deviation, and variance. Let's see which options are matching with this. So sum, distinct count, and max. Percentage is not present, so this is wrong answer. So right options are A, C, and D. Next question is, by default, is aggregation possible for dimension measures? Options are true and false. So the right option is false. as whenever we drag any of the dimension in the view, you can see we get the discrete values and there is a no aggregation applied on it. Okay, so the right option is B, that is false. Next question is data type available for dimensions are select all apply. Options are Boolean, number, sum or geographic. As we already discussed about this, so the right option is A and D. Next question is, can we use multiple aggregation for the same measure field? Yes or no? Let's say we are having profit and the sum is already applied on it. Can we apply another aggregation on it? If we change it to average, you can see it's changed to average, means it is replacing the previous one. So we can't apply multiple aggregation on the same measure field. So the right option is B, that is no. Next question is, which two types of the field appears blue? Options are continuous measures, discrete dimension, discrete measures or continuous dimensions. Okay, so first let's go to our article to understand this. Continuous value is represented by green color and discrete value is represented by blue color. Okay, and if you look at the possible combination of this, so we can have discrete dimension, discrete measures, continuous dimension and continuous measures. Okay, and all the discrete, whether it's a discrete dimension or discrete measures, both are represented by blue color, and continuous dimension and continuous measure both are represented by green color. Okay, one thing to remember here is string and boolean fields cannot be converted into continuous dimensions. I think that is pretty much from this. Let's move to our questions. So which two field appears as blue? So the right answer would be discrete dimension and discrete measures. That is option B and C. Next question is, which two type of field appears green? Here in this question it was blue and here it was green. So here blue represents discrete and green represent continuous. So the answer would be continuous measures or continuous dimension. Okay, that is option A and option D. Next question is number of decimal points supported by Tableau. Options are 8, 16, 24 or 32. Let's try it out. Let's say, let's remove this, drag category and profit. Okay, let's go to its format and go to numbers. And if we go to custom and let's see how many numbers it support. If you can see after 16, it is not going upside. So means Tableau support 16 decimal points. Okay, so the right option is B. Let's move to the next set. Next question is, from the below mentioned values, select the discrete date part. Option are, first is showing date, then month, then year, then this is only year, then year, quarter, and month and year. So first let's understand how we can check out what are discrete date parts and what are continuous date parts. Let's drag a date field and right click on it. If you look at this line, the above the line all are discrete and below the line all are continuous values. If you look at this, you can just get these values, click on month, and the color is also blue. Okay, when you change it to continuous year, you can see the field color is changed to green and this becomes continuous. Okay, so if you look at the option more weekdays, so you will get the weekdays into discrete here. Okay, so if you look at the question, so option B is right, as these all are belong to continuous date part. Okay, so the right option is B. This question can be asked like this as well. From the below mentioned value, select the continuous date part. Then the answer would be A, C, and D. Okay, let's move to the next question. From where we can change the default aggregation for the measures. Let's try it out this one as well. Let's remove this. Whenever we drag any of the measures, so the default sum is applied to it. Okay, so how we can change it to different aggregation? So for this, right click on it, go to default properties, and then go to aggregation, and let me change it to average. Okay, so whenever you drag it, by default average will be applied to it. Okay, so let's see which option is matching with this. Data pane, then measure field, then default properties and aggregation. Row shelf, measure field sum, this is wrong. Data grid in the storage page, this is also wrong. Meta grid, this is also wrong. So right option is A. Next question is, from the below data types, select the ones that cannot be continuous. Select two options. Options are number, string, boolean, and date. This is we already discussed in this article. As you can see, the dimension with the data type of string and boolean cannot be continuous. Okay, so the right option is B and C. Next question is, from the below field types, select the one that will be represented as a measure in the tab. You select two options: shipping date, discount, region, and profit. So the measure contains numeric and quantitative value. So the right option would be B and D. Next question is, what is the default type of aggregation applied to measures? Options are sum, average, ATTR, that is attribute, and mean. So the right option is sum, as this we already discussed many times. So whenever we drag any of the field, so sum is applied to it by default. Okay, that is option A. Next question is, in Tableau, dates can be used in two ways, as discrete and continuous. True or false? This is we already discussed in the previous question. So the right option is A. That is true. Let's move to the last set of this video. Next question is, we need to change the measure such that it automatically aggregate as a count instead of sum. Select the best options. I think we have discussed this kind of question in our previous question as well. So let's try to do it again. For this, let's say if we want to change it to count. For this, we can go to default properties, then we can go to aggregation, then go to count. Okay, now let's remove it. So whenever we drag the profit, it will come the aggregation with the count. Okay, let's see which option is matching with this. Right click the measures in the data pane, then select change data type. This is wrong. Drag and drop the measure into rows and column shelf. Right click on the measures, click the desired aggregation. This is also wrong, because remove this. If we do this and change it to count, okay, it is changed. But if you remove it and drag it again, it will again comes to average. We need to again do it manually. Okay, so this is not the right approach. Okay, right click the measures in the data pane, select the default properties. This is right option, because after that we have to go to aggregate and then change its required aggregation. Okay, drag and drop the measures into the view. Right click on the measure field, select the format to change their aggregation. There is a no option aggregation into the format. Okay, so the right option is C. Next question is, with respect to the placement of the pills in the shelf, which of the below statements are true? Options are, we cannot drop a dimension in front of or behind of another dimensions. Let's try to do it. Let's drag category, and if we drag customer ID in front of category, it is working. And if we drag it in behind as well, this is also working. So this option is not correct. We cannot drop a dimension in front of a measure or left side. So let's remove this. Let's drag measures. And if we place it behind or in front of, so this is working. Means this is also not correct option. We cannot drop a measure in front or left of a dimensions. Let's drag it dimension and let's try to place in front of or left side. So you can see when I drag it in front of the dimension, it is not showing this arrow to add it here. When you drop it into the rows, it automatically comes after the dimension. Okay, so this is right option. We cannot drop a measure in front of or left of a dimension. Okay, we cannot drop a measure in front of, left or behind of another measures. Let's try this one as well. Let's try discount, and whenever we drag, we are getting the icons to get it here. So this is also working. When we drag in front of, this is also working. So this is also not the right option. So the right option is C. Last question of the video is, what does below showing field represent? So we are having the sum of profit in the green color. Options are continuous measure, discrete dimension, discrete measures, continuous dimension. So right option is continuous measures, as green color represent continuous fields and profit is a measure. So that's why it's A, that is continuous measure. That is our option A. With this video, we are winding up our certification series. If you feel this certification series helps you to clear your certification exam, please feel free to add me or tag me, mention me in your LinkedIn post, so that it can reach to others as well. Thank you so much, guys. If you like the video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for upcoming videos.